Welcome to the AFR Saints channel, where we provide you daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave your comments below and smash that like button. Who dat? Saints are back on the practice field Friday. Still no Derek Carr. Looks like Jake Haener will be the guy if Carr can't go. Ross Jackson's the guy with all the info. He joins us now. How are you, dude?
Hey, man, doing great. Glad to be here with you, man. Appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, we appreciate the time. Okay, let's just get the quarterback update. Get us up to speed on the absolute latest of this quarterback carousel.
Yeah, absolutely. So Derek Carr, who, of course, is dealing with not only the left hand injury, but is also still in concussion protocol, is doubtful for Sunday's game against the Washington. And so because the team has walkthrough tomorrow on Saturday, that can qualify as his practice in order to clear concussion protocol. So there's a chance that tomorrow he gets elevated from doubtful to questionable, which would then allow him to effectively be the second-string quarterback behind Jake Haener, so that if they have to go to another quarterback, they can actually go back to their starter if they needed to in the game. But it will be Jake Haener expected to start the game. We spoke with interim head coach Darren Rizzi today. He confirmed that report. And so as we've expected all throughout the week, second-year quarterback out of Fresno State, Jake Haener, will get his first NFL start this weekend up against the Commanders.
So it's interesting that the note about the concussion protocol, so Carr still has to clear that. But do we have any sense at all of how severe the hand injury, how limiting the hand injury might be?
Oh, it's really interesting. Rizzi said on Wednesday that they're trying to see if the swelling will go down. So that kind of at least indicates some type of a contusion or something like that would cause that swelling. So that is some kind of internal something or another with the hand. But the original reports all said that there was a fractured hand and that it would, potentially keep him out for several weeks and potentially for the rest of the season and all these other things. But that's never been confirmed. And to be fair, not necessarily denied either by New Orleans. So there's a level of, is this a smaller fracture to where it's not as big of a deal? Is it a different kind of injury? Things like that. But there is some kind of swelling, which means some type of internal damage. But that's the thing that they're effectively managing. It seems like from that point, the next thing is the concussion protocol that's actually keeping him out more than anything else from the way that the Saints are telling it. So it is an interesting little battle of reported condition versus what the Saints are saying. So we'll see which one of those shakes out in the coming weeks.
Okay, let's say that it is Haener, as it appears it will be. Give me a thought here, Ross, on the limited sample size. But I mean, you're a guy that you were at camp out in California. You've seen as much of Jake Haener as anybody. So give me a thought here on what we might expect from Jake Haener in a first start.
Yeah, I think what you should expect from Jake Haener is a guy that's going to be really decisive and really confident. And those two things can be really good. Those two things can also work against the young quarterback, because if you're really decisive and really confident and make the wrong decisions, those things can go the wrong way. And so that's the big thing that we're going to have to see in this game, is with actually getting a full week, or I can't even really call it a full week, because from my understanding, according to people that I've talked to with knowledge of the situation, both quarterbacks did indeed receive a kind of a split amount of snaps all throughout Wednesday and Thursday's practices. But in any case, he's preparing a game plan, and then he'll be able to go out and execute a game plan. So because of that, I think some of that decisiveness, that confidence will work in his favor. He's somebody that can move around as well, so I don't know that they're going to run any designed runs with him, but he can extend plays. And he's been a fairly good decision maker, not putting the ball in any harm's way, but of course it's on a small sample size. And I would say too that during training camp and all that, even during the preseason, we didn't see a lot of turnover-worthy passes, if you will, from Jake Haener. I think some of the pitfalls in terms of his game will just come from youth and inexperience and all those things. Like, we have to keep in mind, this is a guy that's getting his first career start. He's got a 48.3% completion percentage over the course of those, again, very limited snaps in the regular season. So I think you're going to see a blend of youth and inexperience, but still a lot of decisiveness, reading the defense, trusting what he sees, and the confidence to try to make some of the throws that maybe other rookie quarterbacks or first-time starting quarterbacks, might hold on to the ball a little bit longer.
Ross Jackson's with us, LouisianaSports.net, Locked on Saints. Make sure you read him and listen to him every single day. Looks like Kamara will be back. What's a realistic expectation for this running game, given what Ross, probably expect maybe wouldn't be the most potent passing offense on Sunday?
Yeah, I think that's pretty safe to say. I don't know that the passing offense is going to come out and be a wild success story this weekend. So I would imagine anytime you have a first-time starting quarterback, you want to lean on your run game, right? That's going to be a big part of what it is that New Orleans does. So great to see Alvin Kamara back. No injury designation at all on Friday, so he is good to go. So I would expect the tandem of he and Kendre Miller, the second-year running back who just came back off of injured reserve last week and ended up scoring a touchdown against the New York Giants, for those guys to be a big focus in this game. The Washington Commanders are the number 27 ranked defense in the NFL against the run, and just saw Daron Payne, one of their big guys in the trenches, particularly on the interior, end up going to DNP or listed as DNP on the injury report today with a back injury. So that's a pretty significant loss if he can't play or if he is playing hampered to an already struggling run defense. So I expect to see a lot of Alvin Kamara, a lot of Kendre Miller, both in the run game and in the passing game. But I think in particular, the Saints are going to want to get the ground game going. And I wouldn't be surprised to see them try to play a similar, but hopefully for them, more successful version of what they did against the Los Angeles Rams, where they kind of tried to play that clock control, ball control kind of possession kind of offense at the beginning of the game. And if they can do that against Washington and kind of keep Jaden Daniels off the field a bit, I think that's going to work to their advantage. So expect to see a lot of the run game for Alvin Kamara and Kendre Miller in this game. And potentially, too, with Alvin Kamara being just 62 yards away from his first ever 1,000-yard rushing season, an opportunity to catch that here in this game. That
would be a very cool designation here at the end of a otherwise pretty miserable season for New Orleans. Mm-hmm. But so the interesting note about Daron Payne being injured today and officially listed as questionable. However, Marshon Lattimore, no limitations. He's going to go. What do you think the response to Lattimore is going to be in the Dome on Sunday?
It's interesting. I think it might be favorable. Question mark. I don't know. It's interesting sort of seeing the sort of dichotomy of the response of him today, kind of having these comments around the Saints traded me away, and I'm going to show them why they shouldn't have, and all these other things. And so it's going to be interesting. Like he's obviously a little bit more motivated coming into this game. He, of course, waited till this game to make his debut. I'm sure not on purpose, but it's just kind of the way that worked out. Or maybe a little on purpose. Maybe a little on purpose. Maybe a little on purpose. All right, I'll give him that. But I think that it's going to be an interesting matchup for sure. And look, he's going to be kind of preying in this game on a young, inexperienced quarterback. So this is a tough one. The Saints and the Commanders in terms of passing offense are kind of neck and neck versus the Saints offense versus that Commanders defense, both ranked 17 in the NFL in their respective categories. But, this is a Saints 17th ranked offense that will be without its starting quarterback. And that is or 17th ranked passing offense, and that's a Washington Commanders 7th ranked passing defense that now adds Marshon Lattimore. So those are some pretty important contextual differences in terms of what you might have expected coming into this game versus the reality of what it will be on Sunday.
Ross, do the Saints have any advantages, perceived or otherwise, in this game, aside from being at home?
Just the run game is really kind of the biggest thing for them. I mean, they're behind on point differential. The Saints are in the negative on the point differential. The Washington Commanders are at plus 80 in the point differential. Turnover differential is plus 4, so that's in favor of the Commanders versus plus 2 for the New Orleans Saints. Run defense, run offense, that's really the only place that the Saints seem to have a real advantage here. And so that's what they're going to have to lean on in this one. And look, I'll say this too. The Saints didn't take advantage of the run defense disparity or the run offense, run defense disparity last week up against the New York Giants, not in the way that we expected them to. The Giants are kind of in a similar situation coming into that game as the number 29 rushing defense and lost Dexter Lawrence going into that game. Now here's a bit of a repeat this weekend, the number 27 rushing defense, potentially losing Daron Payne coming into this game. Saints have got to be able to take advantage of that, especially with their starting 5 offensive line back together for a second week in a row, but for the first time since week 3. So that's really the one place where they have an advantage, and they've got to take advantage of that in this matchup.
Before you go, realistically, playing for anything this weekend?
Pride.
Okay.
That's really what you're looking for the rest of the season. I've talked to a lot of players in the locker room. They're not really worried about playoff seeding and things like that. I can't blame them either. I mean, you look at the New York Times odds for them to get in the playoffs; it's less than 1%.
Right.
Everything. That's not really the focus. The focus for them is you'll hear the concept all the time. Oh, we're just trying to go 1-0 this week. But I think from an individual standpoint, this is an opportunity for these players to go out there and show that they either A, deserve to be on this team again next year, or at least put some good tape on the board so that if they become free agents over the offseason, it's an opportunity to, be able to sign a contract and land somewhere else despite the results of the game, of the team, how they individually perform is still value to them. So I think you're going to see a lot of pride. I think that this is a game where they're going to be perceived to be outmatched, and rightfully so. And so they'll come out and play as a team that doesn't have much to lose. Jake Haener himself told me today, "Hey, we're 5-8. What do I have to lose?" And that's a great attitude to have going into this game. Makes you a little bit dangerous when you're willing to be that team that doesn't have the kind of measure of, we have to succeed, we have to do this, we have to do that. The fact of the matter is, they don't have to do anything. They just got to go out there and play. And so that's what they're going to look to do this weekend.
You'll get him on Twitter, X, at Ross Jackson Nola. You can read him at LouisianaSports.net. You can always listen to him or watch him on the Locked On Saints podcast, YouTube, or podcast app. Okay, man, we appreciate it. Enjoy the game Sunday.
Real pleasure, bud. Thanks so much. Take care, stay safe, and I'll talk to you soon.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.